And you are listening to the Bastards of Boston Baseball, another episode of Manic Thursday Takes. I mean, I botched that. Hot Take Thursday, same thing, same thing. We all know it's the same thing. So myself, Terry Cushman, aka hashtag Breslow Peas the Bed, joined tonight by Mark Chikaris, who is going with Cora has to go. And both hashtags are true. So, how are you?
Yeah, I'm Mark Chikaris. I used to blog for Guy Boston Sports and Fansided, and I'm just happy to be aboard because this is Terry and I have tried to make this happen for a long time, and
Years.
I'm glad we did.
Years. You're actually technically the second bastard co-host that I've actually met in person, and I think that was in 2018 ish, maybe. And I've met Charlie Smith in person. And but aside from that, none of us really have ever hung out. We're all spread out, all over the East Coast. Charlie's out west now, actually. It wasn't Providence at the time, but yeah, so I'm just it's kind of good that, just where all these roads end up taking us. And so let's get into it. The big news of, I would say, the last 24 hours, Alex Bregman wants an extension. His busted ass is not on the field. He is going to play at least a small part of us probably being sellers at the deadline, but he wants an extension. What are your thoughts?
So I kind of don't want any part of this. And I like Bregman. I like what he did before he got hurt. I think he is a leader. I think he has experience. Obviously, he's a winner. But the extension, what is that going to look like money wise and like extension wise and everything else? I think that he's going to be way overpaid. And I think it's going to be for way too many years and way too much money. And I'm not down with it, man. I'm not.
Here's my thing. You signed him to a brilliant contract, a smart contract, big annual money, but short years. You're getting the best of what he has remaining. And now they're like, we're open to a dumb contract. You want to, the Red Sox interested? We'll sign a dumb one now. I, I just think that's incredibly stupid. And Boris played this game with JD Martinez. Martinez had, I would say at least 3 of the 5 years of his deal were very productive. And Boris would year after year try to parlay that into, another extension. And the Red Sox, they basically didn't cave. They said, no, it's a 5-year deal. We're comfortable with it. And that's the way it should stay. And, you know, he's 31. He's going to miss probably 60 or so games by the time this is up. He's not coming back before the All-Star break. I just don't see the point in it. And if you look at the timing, this is interesting. Jeff Passan comes out with kind of a teaser for the trade deadline and ranks the 1 through however many it was, 30 or so trade candidates, and Bregman was number 1. So I think Boris is like, oh, whoa, maybe we ought to like calm this down and maybe ask for an extension so that this doesn't happen. So that's kind of weird, and it probably got uncomfortable for him, a couple weeks ago when Devers got traded, because surely if they'll trade Devers, I mean, who won't they trade?
Yeah, I mean, that thing was weird because, and then it was, he was in town to talk about the extension, and I just don't get it. It's like, in they said that Bregman wants to be here. Like, he really likes it here. He likes Cora, blah, 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 blah. I don't understand why you are going to give him an extension when you've got him for these, what is it, 3 years, right?
2 more.
2 more, right? And he has options and this and that. Well, if he likes it so much, he's going to get paid $40 million next year. Like, what are we doing? I don't understand the logic behind it.
If I'm the Red Sox and I'm interested, I let him opt out and then let him hit the market at, I think it'll be age 32 next year. He'll be coming off a year where he only played 110 or so games. See what the market is. And then if it's low, sign him to that lower end. You know, I think the Red Sox have all the leverage right now. Bregman has zero leverage. He's not on the field. So, you know, if you're in the audience now and you're hardcore Bregman and the Red Sox must sign him, the only thing you can probably cling to is the Red Sox desperately need some good press. And I mean, we're not gonna go on an epic tirade if they do extend him, but that's literally all you can cling to right now. It just doesn't make sense. Either force him to opt in and collect his 40 million next year, or let him opt out and at least see what the market is.
Well, that's the thing, Terry. I mean, are we extending him for his baseball skills? And I mean, he was great, before he got hurt. Or are we extending him for leadership roles, right? Which this team is sorely lacking. And I mean, if we're doing it for that, I want no part of that. I'm sorry.
I mean, Rob Refsnyder is a leader in the clubhouse for 1.5 million a year. It doesn't make sense to
A
do
bit
it for.
player. Yep, a bit player. Yep.
So, yeah, it's not going to be if Bregman's going to get big money, it's because that's the type of production that has to happen on the field. And so I don't know which way it's going to go, but like I said, given the timing of the passing drop there, I don't know. And then the other angle too here is, we're all wondering how safe is Cora's job. I mean, we've lost 5 games in a row. The Toronto series, I don't think looks great for the Red Sox. I think your best chance to win would be the Friday game with Bayo pitching. Bueller's on Sunday, probably an automatic loss. But this is a team that's finally, the Blue Jays, finally contending. They're currently in possession of a wild card slot. And, perhaps we're catching them at the wrong time. But if the Red Sox continue to slide here, and we have the Reds after, who are playing pretty decent baseball, might be hitting their stride with Terry Francona in the dugout. I don't see how we're going to be buyers. I mean, there's a chance we could still trade Bregman.
All right, so this is what I got for you. Part of the problem, all right, is Jarren Duran's defense. His offense has been pretty similar to what happened last year. Okay. 2024, he was in the 95th percentile of fielders. This year, 17th. So, buyers or sellers, right? Do teams take a flyer on his offense and not his defense? Because I'm telling you, his offense is almost identical. It's almost identical. And it's very strange because, like, eyeball test, it looks like he's hitting worse. It's very bizarre. Defensive wise, he is playing worse. It's like the 2 years ago thing. And
Yeah,
that's been gone.
I mentioned recently, I can't put my finger on what the defensive issues are. I mean, he's taking awkward routes to the ball. He's bobbled a number of them, as have a couple of the other guys. Even Rafaela did it, I think, in the final game of the Angels series. So I don't know if it's just the bad energy of this team. It's just a widespread malfunction with all of them. I don't know. And then at the plate, yeah, I mean, his power numbers are down. He used to hit okay against lefties. That's kind of evaporated, but I still think teams look at him, at least for now, as a guy that, with a change of scenery, with a different hitting program, can probably be a well above average player.
Yeah,
And
like a dynamic player, like he was last year. He was going to steal bases, create chaos on the base paths. And that's what he was last year. This year he's not getting on base as much. And his batting average is almost the same, but his OBP is lower. And that's disappointing a little bit, because you thought he's going to be this top of the order guy who's going to go out there, create havoc, right? And the other thing is, we brought these kids up. Everyone wanted it. They're both hitting under 200. And it's like, what do we do now? Christian Campbell's already down. I mean, what are we doing here, Terry?
well, what we're doing is we're failing to control our narratives. We're failing to balance the roster. We failed to execute trades over the winter. You had tons of trade capital. You didn't really use it. I think 2 weeks from now, it'll be undeniable that this team has to sell. They have to be sellers. I would move on from Cora. I would get a guy who can develop the kids, who's had a strong track record of that. I wouldn't get a young guy either. That's the thing, and I bring that up every so often. Look at the last 3 or 4 World Series. You had Bruce Bochy in his 70s, Dusty Baker in his 70s, Dave Roberts in his 50s. The front office makes all the decisions there. I'm missing one more. I think there was one. Let's see, Rangers. Oh, Brian Snicker, older guy. So, I'm not saying you got to get like the oldest guy out there, but just get someone who's been around a while, who can, who can influence the clubhouse, who, when he speaks, everybody listens. Go get that guy. Get these kids developed. Focus on that. Because if you don't do that this year, you're going to have to do it next year when you're supposedly trying to win again, and it's just going to be a mess.
Yeah, totally. Like, enough with like these managers who are, Cora. I just think his time is up, man. Like, the definition of insanity is like, keep doing the same thing over and over and over. We've been a 500 team since 2019. It's like, enough is enough. Get this guy out of here. And I don't even hate Cora. I like him. I think he's a good. I think he did good things, but like, the message isn't resonating, and you need to bring someone in here who can take these guys and be like, enough is enough, and make it happen. And to your point, like, bring in an older guy, old school baseball guy. And I mean, look, the Valentine thing didn't work out in 2012, obviously, but like,
No.
you have to find something that resonates with these guys.
Yeah, I don't know who it would be. I like Buck Showalter, but I always get a lot of pushback, including from guys on this crew. But I don't know who it would be, but the Joe Girardis and the Joe Maddens, I don't think have the personality, unfortunately, to manage the kids.
Jim
But
Leland just like smoking heaters in the dugout, maybe.
he would be amazing, but he's probably not in the best shape and doesn't want to take on this type of a lifestyle. But yeah, his type of he would get fiery. I mean, you can go watch that video on YouTube of him getting in Barry Bonds' face, early in his prime.
Love it.
And
Love it.
yeah, so but he had that gentle leadership when he had to as well. But yeah, Breslow was on WEI today, just kind of gave his normal political answers, expects to be buyers. I wonder if John Henry is saying, you absolutely have to win this year. That's what last winter was all about. That's what the cigar picture was all about. So I think winning might still be a mandate, but it's going to change in the next couple of weeks. I really believe that. If we slip to 7 or 8 under 500, we're 2 under now. And I think one of Breslow or Cora will probably go. And if it's Breslow, it'll probably be after the trade deadline. It just seems like that's when it happens. They're given their orders, 4 or 5 days out. Okay, we're sellers. Do the best you can. Then they do, and then they get canned. It just seems like that first week of August is the sweet spot for firing executives. So we'll see what happens there. I would move on from Cora. I mentioned in the last show, how much have you heard from Sam Kennedy at all this season outside of the Devers trade? He gave that long joint press conference.
That stupid Zoom call.
Yeah, that's it.
Just word salad,
Yeah, he knows there's nothing he can say. He knows he's public enemy number one,
Yep.
and he knows the fan base doesn't tolerate him anymore. Yeah. My move would be
absolutely.
this. My move would be this. I said it in the last show, and I'll say it again. I'm probably going to write about it on the blog as well. But get rid of Breslow, and Cora, but at least Breslow. Put Epstein in there to at least finish out the season, to be the calm, experienced influence on this.
The actual face of the franchise.
Exactly. And just a trusted guy who's going to just calm everyone down. He'll probably go hang out in the clubhouse a little bit, chill with the boys. Bring him in for at least the rest of the season. And, and then this winter, let him spearhead the search for the next guy.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. The one thing I have to say though, Terry, is like, if Breslow was your 10th guy or whatever it was to be a GM or CFO or whatever it is, CBO, chief baseball operator, like, what are we going to do now? Because no one wants the job anymore.
Okay. Well, a few things, and a lot of people probably still won't. But number one, John Henry, for the first time in 7 years, demonstrated that he's willing to spend money and that winning is important. So that got solved last winter. Number two, the kids are up, and we're trying to make it work. And I think it's working okay with Meyer at the moment. I think he's the one guy who's really grinding and, is demonstrating that he probably will figure it out. And then number three, that's part of the Epstein strategy here. Just bring him up, let him deal with the media, let him do some interviews, with WEI and maybe map out some stuff with other executives in terms of trades, whatever, what the winner might look like. And then let him spearhead the search for the next guy. If the next guy has the information that most of the front office is leaving well, and I'm not talking just Breslow, O'Halloran, Romero, Ferreira. If most of those guys are leaving, if the next guy can pick their own manager, I just think I think people will show up.
Yeah, I mean that, that's a great point, because part of the problem is that guys in the front office, they were Dombrowski guys, right?
They were
They
actually Epstein guys. They've all been here
were
since.
guys. They were
Yeah,
good Lord. All these guys,
Sherrington. Yeah.
yeah, from like 10 years ago, they're still there. And Breslow doesn't get to pick his guys. So it's like, I don't know if he has guys, but like they're not there. And that's weird. It's very
Yeah, I
sad.
mean, if you go back to late 23, I mean, we all expected Breslow to have all these resources, able to spend money. It didn't happen. And I think everybody that was approached about the position, I think they knew that. I think they said, wait a minute. So I'm not going to be allowed to spend money. I have to keep all the holdovers. I'm probably going to be outnumbered, like
Ugh.
what happened with Heim. And I have to keep a manager who's more popular than me. So that's why it just wasn't, it got all the way down to Breslow. And yeah, and the crazy thing is there was another guy, I think his name was Thad Levine, and he was the number 2 in Minnesota to Derek Falvey. He interested me. I was like, well, that's pretty good. I mean, they've had good pitching at least. They never had a big payroll to be able to really do stuff. But he was a guy I was interested in, and I kind of thought he would probably win until the 11th hour when everything pointed to Breslow. And as I said in the last show, I mean, I was kind of still somewhat open-minded about Breslow. I'm like, well, it's going to be brilliant or it's going to be the worst move ever. And I think we know what
We're
it is.
yeah.
We know what it is. So I don't know. We'll see. This is unprecedented. I think it's going to be an interesting month of July, and I want to see what happens. What's the mood tomorrow night at Fenway? When they're not going to let people bring in fire Breslow signs, and I know this because when they got rid of Orsillo, they were confiscating all of that. So you
Right.
won't see any of that. But I don't know. I hope it's a rowdy crowd. I don't want them to do anything stupid, but if John Henry is up in the owner's suite, I hope whatever the scene is jarring. And
Well, he's probably on a plane right now to Liverpool.
he's probably in England.
He's either in England or he's flying to Spain to make the deal for his new soccer team, which is going to be a Spanish soccer team.
Oh, he's getting a new soccer team.
Yeah, new soccer team. So
didn't know that.
Penguins, Pittsburgh Penguins, Red Sox, Liverpool, new soccer team. But Terry, don't worry. It doesn't matter, because the money doesn't mess around. That's what he's told us. He's like, no, the Red Sox, and this is bull crap.
Shit, you can say it. You just can't say it when Charlie's on. Yeah. All right. So, all right, let's get into some hot takes. I think
All right.
we've spewed enough. Do you want to read the first one, or do you want me to do it?
I want to do Phantom Flares, which is Linda doesn't sleep with John Henry.
I don't think a lot's happening there. I think Phantom Fryer is onto something.
So for Phantom Fryer, by the way, love your username. I don't think it matters for billionaires if their wives don't sleep with them, because I think they have other options. So
Like Bob Kraft.
Right. I mean, there are places out there that it's going to matter. But like John Henry does not give two craps about his teams unless they make money. And that I'm taking that and I'm deferring it. It doesn't matter unless they make money. He has already said he's not selling the team because the team makes money. So if his wife isn't sleeping with him, who gives a rat's ass? He's
Probably
got $1 million.
Yeah, I was going to say probably not John Henry. All right, I'll do the next one. This is a good one. We discussed it prior to coming on. Churro, I like to say where they're from. It's an Anon account. He is from Atlanta. I was just there. I wonder if he was at the game.
My daughters are in Atlanta right now. Hot Atlanta.
Okay. But he says we trade at the deadline for Jacoby DeGrom. Yes, Jacoby. Is he good? I've never heard of him. Clearly, he means Jacob. And let's see. How is DeGrom doing? Very good. 8-2 with a 2.08 ERA. He has about one strikeout per inning, a 0.88 whip. I don't know where's Texas at in the standings. I probably should have had that I should have had that up in front of me here. Let's see, standings, pulling it up right now. Texas is one game better than we are. So they're probably not out of it, and that is massive money. But here's my quick take on that. We could probably use a starter, but I think we need to address the lineup more. We're not scoring runs. We've got guys that can give you a chance to win, but we don't have guys that can put up runs.
I don't think Jake DeGrom is the answer for us. Like, he's a good pitcher, but like we need like mashers in the lineup.
Right.
That's it.
And I hate to say it, but I think your pitching deadline move is the guy we just got, Kyle Harrison. And Breslow did say in the WEI interview, and of course he would, that they've identified stuff that they think they can address with Harrison. And Breslow's exact words were he could pitch some big games right behind Garrett Crochet. So there's your deadline move, everyone.
We got it, Terry. World Series a bust.
This team.
It's tough. It's tough because Jacob DeGrom coming here would mean nothing. The guys they got mean nothing. I saw some video today from Worcester, and it's like, oh, he's pitching great. Who cares? You have to translate that to the Major League Baseball team. I am so tired of hearing about prospects and this guy's going to be great and you got to give him time and blah, 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 blah. I'm done, dude. I'm done.
Yeah, we need guys that can hit right now. And so many of our last 14, 15 games, we've put up, 3 or 4 runs or less. And that's why we're losing games. And you could probably use a reliever. And I know Jordan Hicks is probably that guy, much like Harrison's the guy in the rotation. Johnny Fontaine says Breslow will buy at the deadline, give up minor league assets for shitty rentals, and not make the playoffs. So basically, I think what Johnny's saying is we're going to get much of what we got last year. James Paxton, Luis Garcia, Lucas Sims, and Danny Jansen. And here's the funny thing, and I kind of tweeted this earlier. The beginning of July, Breslow last year said things we don't know if we're going to be buyers or sellers yet. Things basically have to go perfect. And I don't know if things went perfect, but the team exceeded expectations. And then we got all those players like we just mentioned. This year, we're like nosediving to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean right now. And Breslow's like, yep, we're going to be buyers. We expect to be buyers. And so that just tells me, maybe there's still a mandate from John Henry. Like, you must absolutely find a way to win at all costs. Or he knows he's on the hot seat and
Right.
he's just desperate to try to turn it around.
Yeah, totally. I mean, again, like, he's gotta save his job. Does Cora have pictures of someone? Because like, it's like he's brought this team. Terry, you and I could have led that 2018 team to the World Series asleep in the dugout. That's how good they were. And like, what has happened since is absolutely embarrassing. And by the way, all you Red Sox fans, 2021, where they won like what, 91 games, they had to back their way in. They had to win one game. If they didn't win that game, they wouldn't have made the playoffs. So there's another year where you don't make the playoffs. This is embarrassing. It's awful. I can't stand it.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about how Cora, had a very veteran-laden 2018 team, and he had some young guys, but they were broken in by then. Bogarts, Betts, Bradley, had at least a few years under their belt. And, you go to the 2021 team, mostly veterans, and it was veterans and platoon guys, and Cora simply trying to patchwork it. We had no prospects come up at any point in the Cora era besides Casas a few years ago. And, Abreu and Rafaela have come up, but they haven't been impact guys. And now the elite prospects, more elite than Casas and even Rafaela, are up. And Alex Cora has no idea what to do with them. He has no idea.
Yeah.
So I think he's kind of exposing himself as a guy that just isn't really made to lead a young roster, because they're all platoon guys. When is it ever acceptable to make the number one prospect in all of Major League Baseball a platoon guy?
Never. Every day. You hit against lefties, righties, doesn't matter. Throw them to the Wolves. Johnny F says, I think Hamilton may have pictures of Cora.
Yeah. That's Johnny's got some takes for sure.
I mean, listen, to your point, right? If you're going to, everyone's been clamoring, and the Red Sox have told us, right? Here are all these prospects. They're going to be awesome. All right. So you brought them up. Now you're playing them. They're struggling. And I don't mind that. Because if you remember in 2007, Dustin Pedroia struggled. Right? I don't mind it. But, I mean, you can't have them. Like, Dustin Pedroia had David Ortiz, Manny Ramirez, all these guys. I mean, come on.
Yeah, and here's like a couple of guys. James Wood is a young, not a prospect anymore, but he's in the infancy of his career. He's a lefty power guy, not a platoon guy. Corbin Carroll, everyone is familiar with him in the Diamondback system. Left-handed hitter, not a platoon guy under Torey Lovello. Gunnar Henderson, with the Orioles. He's been up a few years now. Was never a platoon guy. Those managers knew how to develop, those players. Alex Cora has no idea.
Nope.
So yeah, so it's frustrating. All right, let's see. Do we got a couple more here? I got this tweet up pretty late, and surprisingly, we got a lot of participation. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of repetitive ones here, so I think we'll just kind of lay off. One guy says fire Cora. Another guy simply says socks are butt. Card Socks it says Wilyer Abreu will be the one to get dealt at the deadline. Maybe, but what's his value? I mean, what are you really getting? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if Cora would have done a better job with him, perhaps he would have a little bit more value, but he was also out for a little while.
To that Twitter guy's post, like, the other thing about the Red Sox is like player development. Like, these guys should be better. It should be better this year. And then you bring the guys up, and then it's like, holy shit. Like, the guys who have been up for 1 or 2 years are like, oh my God, I'm better now. And then you bring up Mayer, then you bring up Anthony, and it's like, hey guys, I'm in the system. I'm better. That's not happening.
No. I mean, when was the last? I don't. Duran is the last prospect we've technically developed to an everyday caliber player, and I think regardless of what happens with Duran in 2025, I think 2026 will be better. Perhaps he'll never come close to 2024 ever again, but I think he will still be an everyday guy in the lineup for the next few years. So, all right. I guess, I think we've gotten most of it out. So we will wrap on that. Myself and Nick the Voice will be back tomorrow night to talk about what the hell did happen with the Blue Jays series. Let me just see who he's. Toronto didn't have their matchups up last night. They probably do now. Bayo is going to be facing Jose Barrios, who we used to own him, but I want to say he's had a couple of recent starts that were pretty good. Chris Bassett is his typical 3.5 ERA self, a guy I would have loved to have had a few years ago when he was a free agent. He'll go up against Lucas Giolito. Don't like that matchup. And Eric Lauer will, wow, he's got a 2.21 ERA. He's going to face Walker Buehler on Sunday. So those are your matchups, but Nick and I will be back tomorrow night to discuss what happened. Maybe the Red Sox snap that 5-game streak. Maybe it extends to 6. So we'll see what happens.